Okay, so you asked for this one. And honestly, you are not going to believe what we found. After our last explainer, so many of you were like, okay, but what about politicians? How do they use this stuff to win elections? Well, you might want to sit down, because today we're blowing the lid off the dirtiest secrets in the entire political playbook.
So how do they really pull it off? I mean, forget what you see on the news. The rallies, the debates, all that stuff. The real war, the one that actually matters, is fought inside your head. And it's fought with psychological tactics designed to completely bypass your rational brain.
So in this explainer, we are pulling back the curtain. We're going to look at what these multi-million-dollar campaigns are actually doing, turning elections into full-blown psychological battlefields. This is the playbook they absolutely do not want you to see.
First up, and this one is huge, the most powerful weapon in their arsenal isn't a speech or a TV ad, no. It's a system of mass surveillance that watches every single move you make online. It's called micro-targeting.
Think about it. Every like you hit, every Google search, every video you share, it's all being scooped up, analyzed, and turned into political ammunition. These campaigns now know more about you than your own family does. They know what you're afraid of, what you dream about, and exactly what buttons to push.
And here's how it works. It's a simple and kind of terrifying three-step process. First, they collect a mountain of data about you. Then they feed it into an AI that builds a complete psychological profile of who you are. And finally, they hit you with personalized ads designed to trigger your deepest emotions. Are you a new dad worried about the future? Bam! Ads about family security. Scared about your job? You'll get nonstop messages about the economy. It is precision-guided manipulation.
And the result of all this? It means that every single voter sees a completely different candidate. The politician becomes a chameleon, showing a unique, custom-made face to every person they're trying to persuade. This isn't a conversation anymore. It's an invisible, calculated mission to win your vote before you even realize what's happening.
Now, let's move on to the next tactic, because this is where it gets even darker. Campaigns have stumbled upon a nasty little secret about us. They've figured out that informing you is, well, it's boring. What they really want to do is enrage you. Why? Because anger, my friends, is the rocket fuel of modern politics.
And get this, the data is crystal clear. Content that makes you angry gets 5 times, that's right, 5 times more engagement online than positive content. That's 5 times the shares, 5 times the comments, 5 times the clicks. So what do political campaigns become? They've become outrage factories.
And there's some serious brain science behind why this works so well. When we get angry, the logical, rational part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, it just shuts down. We literally go into survival mode. Everything becomes us versus them. And in that state, critical thinking just goes right out the window. So they create fake crises out of thin air. They invent an enemy for you to focus all your hate on. It's their fault, they yell. It doesn't even matter if it's true. All that matters is that you have someone to blame, because anger is a blindfold, and a voter who is blind with rage is their perfect voter.
And all that anger creates the perfect environment for our third tactic, the weaponized lie. And let's be clear, we are not talking about simple rumors or gossip. Modern fake news is a sophisticated, strategic weapon, and campaigns are pouring millions into it. You've probably heard this quote before, and it has never been more true. In our hyper-fast social media world, a juicy lie will always beat a boring, complicated truth. By the time the fact-checkers even wake up, the damage is already done. The lie is already viral.
And make no mistake, this is a professional industry. We're talking about entire teams building fake news websites that look exactly like the real thing. They use fake newspaper templates. They deploy armies of fake profiles. And they write these explosive, irresistible headlines designed to go viral, like "Secret recording exposes candidate's evil plot." You know the type.
So here's the hook. Here's the psychological trick. They frame these lies as secret, forbidden knowledge. This is the truth the media is hiding from you. It makes you feel smart, special, like you're one of the few who's in the know. And so what do? You share it. And just like that, you've become a soldier in their disinformation army.
Okay, so have you ever been scrolling online and seen some political idea just explode out of nowhere, and you think, wow, everybody is talking about this. This must be a huge movement. Well, what if it isn't? What if that entire crowd was a complete mirage? That's a tactic called astroturfing.
I mean, the name says it all, right? It's just like that fake grass. It's designed to look like a real, authentic grassroots movement that bubbled up from the people, but it's not. It's completely fake, manufactured from the top down.
Online, they use massive armies of bots to make topics trend and to flood comment sections with the exact same talking points. And offline, you're not going to believe this. They literally hire actors to pose as protesters, and then they position photographers to take pictures from just the right angle to make a dozen people look like a massive crowd. It's all just political theater. It's an illusion.
All right, you need to buckle up for this last one, because this is where it gets genuinely unsettling. The most sophisticated campaigns are now hiring actual neuroscientists to scientifically engineer their political messages. Welcome to the disturbing world of neuropolitics.
This is not an exaggeration. This is the science of hacking the human brain for political gain. They use biometric data to figure out exactly how to trigger your emotions, your fears, and your trust, all on a subconscious level without you ever knowing it's happening.
In these neuro labs, they hook people up to fMRI brain scanners and eye tracking software. They test every single element of an ad. The color of a candidate's tie, the font on a poster, the precise length of a pause in a speech, and the data gives them answers like, using this exact shade of blue reduces feelings of distrust by 15%, or a half-second pause right here increases emotional impact by 22%. This isn't politics anymore. This is cold, hard, scientific persuasion.
And what this all leads to is a campaign that talks directly to your primitive, emotional brain, completely sidestepping your critical thinking. You walk into the voting booth thinking you made a rational choice, but what really happened is you just responded to a set of perfectly engineered stimuli. They aren't selling a candidate or a policy, they are selling power. And the product being bought and sold in this whole transaction is you.
So let's just run through that again. Micro-targeting, manufactured rage, strategic fake news, astroturfing, and neuropolitics. These are the 5 core weapons being used right now to undermine our ability to think for ourselves.
Look, I know this all sounds really scary, and frankly, it is. But here's the good news. Knowledge is resistance. The second you understand how the trick works, it starts to lose its power over you. You begin to see behind the curtain.
So share this with people you care about. Let's get a real conversation started. Because now that you know the rules of their game, the only question left is, how are you going to choose to play?